Have you ever really stopped to think about the relationship between you, the one who's aware of everything, and, well, everything you're aware of? It's a huge question. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most profound ideas from the Bhagavad Gita, the connection between the one who sees and what is seen.
You know, it all boils down to this simple but incredibly powerful statement. You are that. But what does that even mean? To really get it, we need to go on a little philosophical journey together, unpacking one of the most essential teachings of the Gita.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with what the Gita says is the final answer. Then, we'll tackle a really common misconception about the observer versus the observed. After that comes the big reveal, how they are actually one and the same. And finally, we'll look at the choice of identity this whole thing creates and the incredible knowledge it brings.
You know, the Bhagavad Gita is just structured so beautifully. The first 12 chapters really set the stage. They explore two huge questions: who are you and who is God? And now, in this final section, from chapter 13 onward, we get the culmination of it all, the big reveal that ties these two questions into one single unified answer.
So, you can kind of think of it like a puzzle. The first part explores you, the individual. The second part explores the universal, or God. And this final part, the one we're diving into now, reveals the ultimate connection between them. You are that. It's the final piece that makes the whole picture make sense.
Okay, next up, let's talk about a major hurdle we all face. It's really fascinating when you think about it, how our own direct experience, what our senses are telling us every single second, can sometimes lead us to completely wrong conclusions about reality.
Our immediate experience, day in and day out, tells us something that feels super logical. I am the observer, and I observe the world. Therefore, I must be different from the world. I mean, it feels like pure common sense, right? I'm in here, and the world is out there. Simple.
But is our experience always the final word on truth? For centuries, our experience told us the sun moved around a stationary Earth. I mean, you can see it. But deeper knowledge, of course, proved the complete opposite was true. The Gita suggests that our feeling of being separate from the world is a similar kind of mistake. The whole purpose of these teachings is to correct this fundamental misunderstanding about who we really are.
So, to get to that deeper truth, let's start by using some simple logic. Let's really look at this distinction between the one who's observing and the thing being observed.
Let's just start with a basic question. If you are the one doing the observing, can you possibly be the things you observe? The subject can't also be the object. It's a pretty fundamental distinction.
I mean, think about it. You can observe your body, right? It gets older, it feels things. You can observe your own mind, your thoughts, your intelligence at work. You are the witness to constant changes, to all the different forms in the world around you. So, since you can stand back and observe all of these things, logically you have to be something distinct from them.
This chart really lays out the stark differences that logic points to. On one hand, you have the observer. That's you, the consciousness. It's presented as changeless, while the world you observe is in constant flux. The observer is formless and infinite, while the observed is limited to a specific form. You, the single observer, are one. The objects you see are many. The teaching goes so far as to say the observer is the only true reality and the observed world is a kind of temporary illusion.
Okay, so we've logically established this pretty clear separation, but now we get to the great reveal. This is the core teaching that completely flips this entire understanding on its head and resolves the paradox.
And the ultimate conclusion is this: the observer is the observed. Wild, right? After taking us through all the logic of separating them, the teaching brings them back together as one. So the big question is, how on earth can this possibly be true?
To get our heads around this, we need to introduce a really key concept: Brahman. Brahman is described as the one and only substance. It's the single underlying reality from which everything, both the one who sees and everything that is seen, is ultimately made. An analogy makes this so much easier to grasp. Just picture a single wave in the ocean. The wave itself is just a temporary form. It's always changing, it's limited, and it definitely appears separate from all the other waves. But what is its essential substance? Well, it's water, and the water is the unchanging, unlimited substance that makes up the entire ocean. The wave is just a fleeting expression of that water.
And this leads us right to the core teaching. Atman is Brahman. Atman is the individual consciousness, the observer, that's the wave. Brahman is the ultimate reality. The substance of everything we observe, that's the water. So they look different, but in their true essence, they are one and the same thing.
So what does this all mean for us right here, right now? This isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. It presents us with a really profound choice about our own identity, a choice that has very real, tangible consequences for how we experience our lives every day.
So the question is put directly to us. Who are you? Do you choose to identify yourself as the temporary form, the wave, or as the eternal substance, the water?
Let's just look at the two paths this choice creates. If I identify with my body and my mind, if I think I'm the wave, then I'm going to see myself as mortal, probably pretty insignificant, and my life will just be this roller coaster of pleasure and pain. But if I identify with the consciousness, with the water, then I understand my nature is immortal. My true nature is ever witnessing joy, and I can live my life joyfully, no longer getting tossed around by every little change.
But here's the crucial twist. While it feels like a choice between two equal options, the teaching asserts that it's not. The consciousness is presented as the only reality. The body and mind, just like the wave, are just temporary, illusory forms. So the choice isn't about picking one of two things, it's about recognizing what is already true.
And that brings us to our final point, why this is considered the ultimate joyful knowledge. This isn't about memorizing facts for a test. This is presented as a truly transformative understanding of life itself.
So what's so great about this knowledge? Well, it's considered the ultimate, unchanging truth, the final word, really. And what's incredible is the claim that just knowing this truth is enough to lead to joyful living. It's said to put an end to that constant nagging feeling of inadequacy we all get and bring this amazing sense of everlasting security and deep, lasting peace.
So how does that even work? Well, our ego is described as the part of us that identifies as the doer and the enjoyer, the one who takes credit for the good stuff and suffers through the bad stuff. When we really understand our true nature is the unchanging consciousness, this ego, this mistaken identity, it just dissolves. It has nothing left to hold on to.
And this leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. If all suffering belongs to an identity, the ego, the wave, that you can simply discard by understanding the truth of who you really are, what then is left?